My child, there is something meaningful about the fact that you are here reading this right now. You might think you just paused for a moment, maybe scrolling without direction, or sitting in a quiet space where your thoughts felt heavier than usual. But something in you stopped here, and even if part of you is unsure why, your heart felt it. Heaven has a way of meeting you in moments like this, in ways that feel almost ordinary at first, yet carry something deeper. I have seen you in those quiet hours, the ones no one else knows about. The nights where sleep didn't come easily, or when you picked up your phone just to distract your thoughts but still felt that ache underneath. I heard the moments when you whispered, "Lord, if you can hear me, I just need a sign." And even if a part of you is still wondering if this could really be that answer, I want you to stay here for a moment and let your heart open gently, because what is unfolding in your life is not small, and it is not random. Something has already begun to shift, even if you cannot fully see it yet. There is movement happening beyond what your eyes can measure, and even now, as you breathe, the atmosphere around you is changing. Things that have been weighing on you, even the ones you learned to carry quietly, are starting to loosen their hold. You might still feel a little uncertain, and that's okay. A part of you may be questioning whether this is real or just another passing moment, but deep down, there is a subtle stirring inside your chest. That feeling, that quiet pull, it is not coming from nowhere. It is my presence reaching you, gently moving through the places where doubt and exhaustion have been sitting for too long. I chose this moment because your heart has been preparing, even in ways you didn't notice. You have been standing at the edge of something new, even while it felt like nothing was changing. That long season of waiting, the one that made you feel stuck or unseen, is beginning to turn. What once felt overwhelming, like it might swallow you whole, is starting to reveal something softer, something you didn't expect to see. This is more than just words on a screen. There is a reason your attention stayed here instead of drifting away. I drew you into this moment because something that has been held back is now being released in your favor. You have been walking through confusion, through fatigue, through days that felt heavy without explanation, but that fog is beginning to lift now. The change you've been sensing, even if you couldn't name it, is real. It's like the quiet light before sunrise, subtle but undeniable once you notice it. What felt delayed in your life has not been denied. It has been waiting for the right moment, and that moment is here. Even now, as you sit wherever you are, take a slow breath and notice you are still here, and something is shifting. I am working in ways you cannot yet see, moving things into place, strengthening what once felt fragile. The prayers you thought went unanswered have been gathering strength in silence, and now they are beginning to move. One day you will look back at this exact moment and realize this was when things began to change. So don't dismiss why you are here. You are here because I called you closer, because your story is still unfolding, and because I wanted you to hear your name again in a way that reminds you that you are seen. What others might call coincidence carries intention, and every step that brought you here has been guided, even when it didn't feel that way. This moment is sacred in a quiet, steady way. The distance between heaven and your life feels thinner right now, and I am moving into the places that once felt empty. I am breathing life into what you thought was over, gently restoring what felt broken, and stirring hope where it had grown quiet. You may have felt that restlessness lately, that subtle shift you couldn't explain. That is because something meant for you has already started moving closer. Like the first hint of morning light, it is already on its way, and even now, obstacles are beginning to lose their strength. What I am bringing into your life will not be held back by time, by people, or by fear. You are stepping into a new season, one that will shape your life in ways you may not fully understand yet. And even now, something inside you is beginning to recognize it. Pause for a moment. Just breathe, slowly, right where you are. Let your shoulders soften, let your thoughts quiet down, even if only a little. I am here with you, closer than you may realize, surrounding you in this very moment. The same love that shaped the stars is holding you now, and even if part of you is still trying to take that in, your spirit can feel it. This is not just something you're reading and moving past. There is something being poured into you even now, a calm you didn't have a moment ago, a quiet strengthening of your faith. I'm speaking through these words to lift your eyes because what you've been asking for is already in motion. In ways you cannot yet see, things are opening, conversations are happening, and what felt out of reach is beginning to return. You might still wonder how or when, and that's okay. But do not let fear interrupt what your faith has already begun to hold on to. The fact that you are here, in this exact moment, is part of that evidence. Something you've been praying for is already moving toward you, even if your eyes haven't caught up to it yet. There is activity beyond what you can measure, and it's reaching into your life now. That feeling inside you, that quiet pull or unexpected warmth, is not random. It's a sign that something is shifting, that strength is being renewed within you, that clarity and confidence are starting to rise again. You are not overlooked, even if it felt that way before. You are not behind, even if your timeline looked different from others. You are being prepared, gently and intentionally, for what is coming next. And when I move, it does not unfold slowly the way you might expect. It comes with a certainty that reshapes everything at once. So stay here for a moment longer. Let the tension ease out of your body. Let your heart open just a little more. There is something meant for you connected to this moment, something written with your life in mind, and it is already making its way toward you. Listen closely now, because I am speaking to you with care and purpose. This moment did not come together by chance, and even if it felt like you were just passing time, there was intention guiding you here. I placed this message in your path so that something within you would recognize my voice the instant you saw these words. You are here because you were meant to be here, and there is nothing accidental about this encounter. This is a moment prepared with precision, one that meets you exactly where you are. If this speaks to your heart, take a second and write Amen, not just as a habit, but as a quiet way of saying, I'm here, and I'm listening. You have wondered for a long time if I still hear you, if I still see what you carry in silence, the tears you hide, the weight you push through, the thoughts you keep to yourself. I have seen all of it. And that is why I am meeting you now, not later. Not when things feel easier, but right here in the middle of everything you're holding. You have been trying to carry so much on your own, staying strong even when you felt drained. But you were never meant to do this alone. This moment right now is part of something deeper unfolding in your life, something already set in motion. Even before you found these words, things had already begun to shift. While you were resting, while you were worrying, while you wondered if anything was changing, I was already at work. And even now you can feel it, that subtle movement inside you, that sense that something is beginning. Something inside you has felt unsettled for a while now, like a quiet tension you couldn't fully explain. Maybe you noticed it in small moments when everything around you seemed normal, but your thoughts kept drifting somewhere deeper. Even in simple things, sitting alone, staring at your phone without really seeing anything, you could feel that something was shifting beneath the surface. Your mind may not have had the words for it, but your heart kept reaching for something more. What you've been sensing is not empty or imagined. There has already been movement on your behalf, even if you couldn't see it yet. The prayers you whispered, the ones you thought faded into silence, have been building strength in ways you didn't realize. And the doors that seemed firmly shut have been quietly prepared to open at the right moment. I know there were times you looked at your life and saw only delay, only stillness, only obstacles that didn't make sense. You tried to understand why things didn't move when you expected them to, why answers didn't come when you needed them most. But where you saw things standing still, something else was taking shape. Alignment, preparation, a path being formed carefully, step by step. Nothing you have gone through has been wasted. Not the nights you lay awake thinking too much. Not the quiet disappointments you carried without telling anyone. Not even the confusion that made you question everything. Every piece of your experience, even the ones that felt broken or incomplete, has been gathered and woven together into something that is beginning to unfold now. I need you to take that in, even if only a part of you can accept it right now. This moment is not small, and it is not just another passing encouragement. It marks a shift, a point where things begin to move in a different direction, even if you can't fully feel the change yet. Everything that came before has been leading here, preparing you for what is about to follow. You may not have recognized it at first, but something in you knew to pause here. That quiet pull that kept you reading, that sense that this moment felt different, it came from a deeper place within you. Because the way heaven marks change is often quiet, not loud or dramatic, but steady and deeply real. Right here is where the weight begins to ease, even if just slightly at first. Right here is where clarity starts to return, where the heaviness you've been carrying begins to loosen its grip. You've walked through a season that felt draining and uncertain, questioning your decisions, your direction, and why certain things in your life seemed to fall apart without explanation. You wondered why people changed, why opportunities disappeared, why you were left holding emotions that felt too heavy to carry alone. And even when you didn't hear an answer, every thought, every question, every moment of doubt was seen. This message is meeting you here because this is where those answers begin to settle into your spirit. Nothing is happening without purpose. This moment didn't interrupt your day by chance. When I speak like this, it is because something is already shifting. Because what looked like things falling apart has been quietly moving into place. This is more than just something you read and move on from. There is something being placed into your spirit even now. A sense of calm, a subtle warmth, a quiet stirring that you may not be able to explain. That is my presence, working gently but steadily, unfolding what has already begun. You have been closer to this turning point than you realized. The pressure you felt, the discomfort, the sense of being stretched in ways you didn't understand. It wasn't a sign that something was wrong. It was a sign that something was growing, that change was already in motion. As seasons shift, certain things naturally fall away. You may have noticed connections changing, environments no longer feeling right, parts of your life that once fit now feeling restrictive. That sense of being out of place, of not fully belonging where you used to, wasn't confusion without reason. You have been in transition even if you couldn't name where you were going yet. And now you are beginning to see that what felt uncertain was actually movement all along. And I am telling you now, gently but clearly, this change you've been sensing is real. Something is already moving toward you, even if your circumstances haven't fully reflected it yet. You've been asking yourself why things suddenly stopped working the way they used to. Why doors that once opened easily now stay closed, why certain opportunities disappeared without explanation. Even your heart, the way it started pulling away from people, places, and routines that once felt familiar, it left you confused, maybe even a little lost. But there is a reason for all of it. I have been guiding you, even in ways you didn't recognize at the time. What closed in your life did not close to harm you. It closed to protect you, to keep you from paths that would have slowed you down or weighed you down. What didn't work out was not failure, it was removal, because it could not go where you were being led. The relationships that faded were not meaningless losses. They were lifted away so you wouldn't carry extra weight into what is ahead. Even if it hurt, even if it left questions behind, it was creating space. And what is coming into that space will be greater than what you had to release. There is already movement happening even now. You may not see it yet, but things are being arranged quietly. People you haven't met, conversations you're not aware of, doors that are beginning to open. What has been held back is starting to be released, and it will not arrive slowly or in small pieces. It will come in a way that feels full, steady, and undeniable. That is why you are here, reading this now. You needed to be reminded that this moment is real, that what you've been feeling inside has meaning. The restlessness, the sudden clarity, the emotional weight you couldn't explain, they were all pointing you here, to this shift, to this point where something begins to change direction. So take a breath. Let it settle in your body. Let your shoulders drop even slightly, and allow your thoughts to quiet. Something is shifting, not just around you, but within your story itself. And this moment, as simple as it may seem, is part of that beginning. Come a little closer to this because I want you to feel understood in a deeper way. I have been with you through everything you've carried in silence, through the moments no one else noticed. I've seen the strength you show on the outside, and I've also seen what you keep hidden underneath it. I know what it feels like for you in those quiet hours, when everything slows down and your thoughts get louder. I know the questions that come up, the fears you try to push down, the tears you wipe away before anyone can see them. Nothing about your experience has been invisible to me. There were nights when the silence felt overwhelming, when loneliness sat heavy on your chest, and you wondered if I was still there, if I still saw you. Even when you didn't hear an answer, I was closer than you realized, right there with you in those moments. I saw you when you tried to hold yourself together, when you sat in the dark wondering how much longer you could keep going. I saw the thoughts that circled in your mind, the waves of fear, the heaviness that came without warning. I saw the quiet prayers you whispered, the ones you thought were too small to matter. But I heard every single one. Every breath, every pause, every unspoken word, I heard it all. You have walked through things you never explained to anyone, carried burdens that were never meant for you alone, and kept going even when it felt like too much. There were times you told yourself you were fine, that you would get through it, that the pain would pass. You kept moving because you felt like you had to, even when something inside you was hurting more than you admitted. And through all of it, I saw the truth of what you were carrying. But I saw what was really happening inside you, even in the moments you tried to hide it from everyone else. I saw the weight sitting on your chest, the kind that made it hard to take a full breath, like something was always pressing down on you. I saw the disappointment that stayed with you after each time you were let down, how it slowly carved deeper into your heart. I saw the pain you brushed off, the anger you kept buried until it turned into exhaustion, and the way you still found the strength to smile, even when something inside you felt like it was breaking. And I need you to hear this clearly. None of that went unseen. Not one tear, not one lonely night, not one moment where you felt completely drained slipped past me. I was with you in every quiet place, in every moment where it felt like no one else understood what you were carrying. Even in the battles you never spoke about, the ones no one else would have recognized, I was there holding you through them. There were times when everything felt so overwhelming that you started questioning yourself. You felt emotions shift without warning, like going from calm to heavy in a matter of moments, and you didn't understand why. You tried to find peace, but instead felt pressure, tension, even a sense of being pushed down when all you wanted was relief. What you experienced in those moments was not random, even if it felt confusing. There was more happening than what you could see, more than what your mind could easily explain. You felt waves of sadness that didn't seem to come from anything specific, fear that rose up without a clear reason, and thoughts that became harder to steady. At times it may have felt like your mind was under constant pressure, like you were trying to stay afloat while something kept pulling at you. And in the middle of all that, you started to wonder if something was wrong with you. But I want you to understand this gently. What you were facing was heavier than you realized, and you were carrying more than you were meant to carry alone. The weight you felt was not a sign of weakness. The exhaustion you carried was not a sign that you were falling apart. It was part of a deeper process unfolding, even if you couldn't see it clearly at the time. There were days when everything felt like too much, when responsibilities stacked up and you didn't feel supported the way you needed. You kept holding things together on the outside, even as something inside you felt like it was slowly unraveling. You asked for strength but felt tired, asked for clarity but felt more confused, asked for peace but felt overwhelmed instead. And still, you kept going. Even when your energy was low, even when your faith felt fragile, you didn't completely let go. There was still something in you that kept trying, that kept reaching, even if it was just a small part of you holding on. I want you to know that none of what you went through was meaningless. Every wound, every loss, every moment that felt heavy has shaped something within you. The things that hurt you also deepened your understanding, softened parts of your heart, and strengthened you in ways you may not fully see yet. You were never alone in any of those moments, even when it felt that way. When you were too tired to even find the words to pray, I was still there with you. When you felt like you couldn't stand on your own, I was holding you steady. When everything in you wanted to give up, something kept whispering for you to keep going. There were moments when you felt empty or numb, and you didn't understand why. But even then, there was care around you, holding you together in ways you couldn't recognize at the time. You were being carried through more than you realized. I also saw the quiet moments no one else ever noticed. The times you cried softly so no one would hear. The times you pretended everything was fine because you didn't want to worry anyone. The moments you felt overwhelmed but pushed it down, thinking you just had to be stronger. You worried about how others might see you if they knew the full weight of what you were carrying. You wondered if they would understand or if they would turn away. So you kept it inside, holding more than you were ever meant to hold on your own. So you kept it all inside, holding everything behind a quiet wall no one else could see. There were moments when you wanted to let it all out, to break, to say how much it actually hurt. But instead you stayed silent and carried it alone. I saw those nights when sleep wouldn't come, when your thoughts kept circling and you couldn't turn them off. I saw the way you held yourself together, even holding your breath at times just to keep from falling apart. And every time, my heart moved toward you with compassion. Nothing about those moments was overlooked or dismissed. If this speaks to something deep in you, take a moment and say, Amen. Not out of routine, but as a quiet way of acknowledging that you've been seen and held through it all. You have walked through things that could have broken you completely, and yet you are still here. You have faced battles that were heavy enough to stop you, and still, you kept going. Even when everything inside you felt like it was reaching its limit, something in you refused to give up. That strength within you was never Sluchani, and it didn't appear overnight. It was placed inside you long before you ever realized how much you would need it. You have more courage than you've allowed yourself to see, more endurance than you've given yourself credit for, and a faith that held on even when it felt fragile. I am not bringing these things to your attention to expose your weakness. I am showing you this so you can finally understand how deeply you are loved. I was with you in every low place, in every moment where no one else knew you needed support, holding you when you couldn't hold yourself. I stood with you in battles you didn't have the strength to fight, and I brought healing into places you never spoke about. I comforted you in the emptiness, guarded you when things felt overwhelming, and protected you in ways you may never fully realize. There were moments when things could have gone differently, but I stood between you and what would have destroyed you. Every silent struggle you endured has shaped something within you. The tears you cried alone have not disappeared. They have become part of something greater that is now beginning to take form. The weight you carried is turning into something that will bring restoration and fullness into your life. Nothing you went through was wasted. Not the pain, not the confusion, not even the moments you wish you could forget. I saw it all. I carried you through it, and now I am bringing purpose out of it. Come closer to this because I want you to understand something you've been questioning for a long time. You've asked again and again why things felt delayed, why progress seemed slow, why doors didn't open when you expected them to. I heard every one of those questions. Not one of them was ignored. And the truth is, those delays were not rejection, and they were not absence. They were protection, part of something being carefully arranged beyond what you could see at the time. If certain things had come into your life too early, they would have overwhelmed you instead of helping you. It was never about your worth. It was about timing and readiness. Some paths stayed closed because they held distractions or harm you couldn't yet recognize. Some people were removed because they could not be part of what is ahead for you. Some places were blocked because they would have drained you more than they would have given to you. There were moments you asked for things to move forward, but I could already see where those paths would lead. So I slowed things down. I held certain things back, not to keep them from you, but to keep you safe. What felt like stillness or silence was actually careful preparation happening in ways you couldn't yet see. While you thought nothing was changing, so much was already in motion. Things were being adjusted, people repositioned, situations prepared so that when the time came, everything would align the way it needed to. You were never simply waiting for something to happen. What was meant for you was waiting for the right moment, and for you to be ready to receive it. There were things happening around you that you couldn't see, battles unfolding in ways your mind could not fully understand. I kept you from feeling the full weight of it, even though you still sensed pieces of it in your body and your thoughts. There were moments when confusion crept in, when your energy felt drained for no clear reason, when fear or sadness showed up without warning. Even that pressure you felt in your chest or the exhaustion that didn't seem to match your day, those were not Sluchani feelings. And still, even in all of that, I was standing between you and what could have overwhelmed you. When you felt too tired to even form a prayer, you were not unprotected. You were being covered, guided, and held in ways you couldn't see at the time. What looked like silence in your life had purpose behind it. What felt like waiting was not empty space. It was movement happening beyond your view. And what you experienced as delay was not loss of time, but something being secured and prepared before it reached you. There is something deeper I want you to understand now. During that season where everything felt slow or unclear, something within you was being shaped. You were changing in ways you didn't notice day to day, becoming stronger, more aware, more grounded in your faith. You learned how to stand even when you felt weak. You learned how to keep going even when you didn't have clear answers. You learned how to trust me in moments where you couldn't trace what I was doing. And that kind of trust doesn't come easily. It is formed through time. If things had happened earlier, you would have stepped into them carrying weight that didn't belong there. You might have held on to what needed to be released, or settled for something smaller than what was meant for you. Some things had to be cleared, some parts of you had to heal, so that what is coming could actually rest securely in your life. Even when you couldn't feel it, you were growing. Even when it seemed like nothing was changing, something within you was strengthening. You were becoming ready in ways that are not always visible from the outside. And now, this moment has arrived. Not by coincidence, not by effort alone, but because everything has been leading here. What once felt still is beginning to move. What once felt closed is beginning to open. And what once seemed out of reach is starting to align. You might feel something subtle right now, a shift in your chest, a sense of calm, or just a quiet awareness that something is different. That feeling matters. It's a sign that what you've been waiting for is no longer distant. It has already started. Everything you went through was preparing you for this. The tears you cried, the pressure you endured, the battles you fought. They were not empty experiences. They were shaping you so you could carry what is now entering your life. This is why you are here in this moment, reading these words. This is where preparation meets fulfillment, where what was held back begins to be released. What you lost is being restored. What was protected is being replaced with something better suited for you. What you've been waiting for was never taken away from you. It was held until the right moment, so it could arrive in a way that brings fullness instead of pressure, clarity instead of confusion. And now, that moment is here. So stay close to this. Let it settle in your heart, even if part of you is still catching up. If you feel this truth, write Amen as a way of standing in that faith, and share this message so it can reach someone else who needs it.